The phenomenal Gemara in Maseches Brochis, Daf Choftes. Gemara talks about the definition of having a certain amount of brochis in every Shmones of the year. Hanach Yudches brochis of 18 brochis of Shmones of Michoel keneged that. Sheva brochis of Shabbos is keneged that. Hane Teisha brochis of Rosh Hashanah. We know the davening we daven Rosh Hashanah is Sholosh Rishonos, Sholosh Achronos, and Sholosh Mitzoyos, which is Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofres. Keneged Ma. So the Gemara Omar Avitzchok the Min Kartiganin Keneged Teisha Azkores Sheomro Chano betfilos. We know that mother of Shmuel Hanavi, her name was Chana. We're going to focus on Tefilos Chana because that's the makor of Tefillah. A lot of halachos of Hilchos Tefillah in Shulchan Aruch we learn from Tefilos Chana. So, Keneged, the 9 times she mentioned Shem Hashem in Shiras Chana, once she had Shmuel was born, that's the 9 Azkores which are mechayev us to give, to daven with 9 brochis on Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, in Daf Yud Amud Beis, Yud Aleph Amud Aleph, over a ganze Amud, Gemara mentions a few things, and we mentioned it in the last year, but just to wrap up on the Gel in Yanenu, B'Rosh Hashanah Nifkedo Soro, Rochel, and Chano. B'Rosh Hashanah Yotza Yosef Mibeis Asuri. B'Rosh Hashanah Posak Botlo Avoido Me'avoiseinu B'Mitzrayim. So I'd like to focus on those 5 things. The 2 Imoes, Soro and Rochel, which would Nifkad on Rosh Hashanah. So too Chana is Nifkad on Rosh Hashanah. Yosef went out of the jail on Rosh Hashanah. And so too Klal Yisrael Posak Hashibud, Zokt Rashi, even though they went out 6 months later. But Lemaise, in that year of the Yetzias Mitzrayim, anybody that walks into this Bes Medrash knows 2248 L'Brias Oilam, that Rosh Hashanah Poscha Aveda. For 6.5 months thereafter, or maybe 7.5, pending the Machlekes HaMidrashim, if it was a Yibur or not Yibur, they were sitting there past Avdus, past Shibud, until the Geula, which happened on Leil Pesach. So what does Chazal want to tell us? This happened on Rosh Hashanah, this happened on Rosh Hashanah. We're just counting things that happen on Rosh Hashanah. So Pashta is the way the Rishonim learn without getting our hands dirty in the sugya. More is trying to tell us that what do we have to do Rosh Hashanah? Why do we read Rosh Hashanah, the Kriyas HaTorah, Hashem Pokad Sora Asher Oma? Because Rosh Hashanah, it's Me'eina Me'oira. There's a halacha every time you read, it has to have association. We know with the Maftir is Me'eina Me'oira, the Kriyas HaTorah is Me'eina Me'oira. Why do we read Rosh Hashanah of Hashem Pokad Sora? Because Sora is Nifkad Rosh Hashanah. Why do we read the Haftorah of Elkanah? Because Rosh Hashanah Nifkad Chana. Why do we read on the second day Akedas Yitzchok? Because Akedas Yitzchok happened on Rosh Hashanah. And why do we make Haftorah from Koya Mar Hashem of Rochel Imeinu Mini Koylech Mibechi? Because Rochel was Nifkad on Rosh Hashanah. As I Pashtas learn in the Rishonim, this is the reason why the Gemara mentions it. B'Rosh Hashanah Nifkad Yosef Yosef Beis Asur. What shaykhs does it have to do with anything? So you know that Nusach Sfarad, they say that the Shir Shel Yom and Rosh Hashanah every day according to the day. The Goyans Shita is as they gedrukt in Siddur Agra, and a lot of in Eretz Yisrael everybody fears that Rosh Hashanah, irrespective of the day of the week that Rosh Hashanah falls out, you say the kapitel Pei Aleph in Tehillim Tiku B'Choy D'Shefer B'Kesel Yom Chagim L'Kichot L'Yisrael Lu Mishpat L'Kei Yankev. Then there is 2 psukim. Eidus B'Yehoisef Somoy B'Tzeisar Al Eretz Mitzrayim Sfas Li'Yodadi Eshma, which is talking about the Geula of Yosef. And Hasiroisi Misevel Shichmoy Kapov Midud Ta'avorno. So the Radak, this refers to Hasiroisi Misevel Shichmoy, the Avdus, the Shibud expired on Rosh Hashanah. So again, the reason why we do all the things, the Kriyas HaTorah, the Haftorah, the Shir Shel Yom, and everything which has to do with that, is because of all these occurrences that took place on Rosh Hashanah. But Rosh Hashanah botla avodah, sagt the Maharal, we daven, we say Kiddush. You ever think about it? You come to Kiddush on Rosh Hashanah, you say Zechel L'tzias Mitzrayim. Pesach is Zechel L'tzias Mitzrayim. Shavuos is Zechel L'tzias Sukkos. Wo kommt Rosh Hashanah zu sein Zechel L'tzias Mitzrayim? What shayches does Rosh Hashanah have Zechel L'tzias Mitzrayim? Sagt the Maharal that because there is Pesach, Rosh Hashanah, Poscha Avodah, so we say Zechel L'tzias Mitzrayim v'lechaven al shnei Yomim Eila. This is the first thing. Also to be mechaven on the Posach Hashibud Mitzrayim. That's the Zechel. You don't know what you say. But you say Zechel L'tzias Mitzrayim because these two occurrences that took place on Rosh Hashanah. Let's get a shtickle deeper into it and try to swim through the water and lead us to the slichus of Erev Yom Kippur. You know, we say in the Tefilos Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah Yikosevun, B'Yom Kippur Yichaseimun, Kama Yavrun v'Kama Yiboreyun. What does it mean, Kama Yavrun? Who will die? What does it mean, Kama Yiboreyun? If you look in the Meforshei Tefilos, starting from Abu Drarama the Reker, who will be conceived during this year? Doesn't mean Ibareyan who will be born. Which pregnancy will take place during the year? So all the pregnancies of the forthcoming year, will be Yom Tzom Kippur Yichasem. So what's Rosh Hashanah Nifkedo Sora? What's Rosh Hashanah Nifkedo Rochel? What's Rosh Hashanah Nifkedo? Every woman that's going to have a baby that year is going to be conceiving that year. This woman, she is decided on Rosh Hashanah. So Rashi really says that the Rosh Hashanah was the nifsak that Sarah will get pregnant. Some Sefer says that they got pregnant that night. That Sarah, you have to understand, and Yitzchak was born on Leil Pesach. Chazal, he was Neilad the Shiva, and he led us the Shiva, he led us the Mekutoyin. So it's either 6.5 or 7.5, pending if that year was a Yibur Yor, according to Rishonim, there was an Inyan of Yibur Hashanah farm out there. Okay? And so is Rachel. Rachel is Take, State Medrash, whoever knows, so now Medrash Tatshe, which is brought down in Rabbeinu Bechaya in the beginning of Sefer Shmois, Vayom Osei, Sefer Chol Echel, V'chol Adero, he says the birthdays of all the Shvatim, very phenomenal. The birthdays of all the Shvatim. Yosef's birthday is Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. If Yosef's birthday is Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, is Nisabro, and if you let us Letitia's Machlekes and Midrashim, she was taking Nisabro B'leil Rosh Hashanah. We don't know what happened. What was the Tefilah of Sarah to get her son? What did she do? It doesn't say. First, given the schus for Sarah to get the son. She was Akora, Leolodo, Astishim, but she has to have a schus. What was the Tefilah of Rachel to get Yosef? We don't know. The only one we know what the Tefilah was Chana. Let's read a second together the Tefilah of Chana. Shteit Azeh. Vayi Ayoyim, Vayizbach, Vayi Ayoyim, Vayizbach, Elkono v'nosan lepnina ishto v'lechol baneo v'noseo monois v'lechano yiten mano achas apayim ki eschano ohev v'Hashem sogar rachmo v'chi asasa tzorosa gam kas ba'avur ar'imo ki sogar Hashem ba'ad rachmo v'chen yaseh shono b'shono b'dei aloyse b'is Hashem ken tachesno v'tivke v'loi toichal v'yomer lo Elkono isho chano lama tivki v'lama lo yiseichli v'lama yero levovich alo anoichi toiv lach Ma'asora bonim, I'm better than 10 children for you. Shaila, how many children? Pnina, her tzora. If she had 10 children, or 12 children, or 9 children, it's machlekes and chazal, different midrashim. But I'm better than, why are you crying? Why aren't you eating? They used to go aliyah l'regel in Shiur, which is a shaila in the Shonim, is their din aliyah l'regel, Ramban in Parshas Re'eh is a shaila, if the Bechlal is a din aliyah l'regel, Mishkan Shiur. But they came to aliyah l'regel, and they used to come not 3 times a year, they used to come 5 times a year, as they state in Radak. Rosh Hashanah, they used to go aliyah l'regel as well. So, Then we see the Tefilah. After the crying and after the breigers and after the kas and after the not eating, what is Chana saying? Vatoimer Hashem tzvokos im roi tire be'oni amoscho uzechartani v'lo yisishkach es amoscho v'nosato la'amoscho zera anoshim v'unesativ la'Hashem kol yemei chayov u'moiro lo ya'ala roish. I promise you, if you give me a son, right now I'm dedicating him from the day of his Afsoka Sa'anoka, which is 24 months according to the Torah, until Sef Yom Shmuel lived 52 years. You know, the Gemara says, Hashem tzvokos. Steht a Gemara in Brochis in Daf Lamed Aleph. Omar Ablozo, miyoim shebora HaKadosh Baruch Hu esay lomoi, lo hoyo odom shekoro laHashem tzvokos. Nobody called. If you look throughout the whole Tanakh, miyoim shebora HaKadosh Baruch Hu esay lom, there was never anyone who called HaKadosh Baruch Hu tzvokos. Ad shebos chana v'krosas tzvokos. Omro lefonav. Ribeina shel Michoel Sorotzkin, from all armies of armies, shel buim shebarato l'necho kosher beinecho shetiktel beinecho. Can't this get? Gave me a little donation. Billions of people in the world. Can't you give me one son? Zog the Gemara moshel lema hadover doim. It's a moshel of the Gemara. It's not moshel from the story, fortune telling for the kids. Moshel lema hadover doim. Lemelech bosav adam sheosa suda la'avodov. On yechod bo ve'omed atzel ha'pesach omer lehem ha'oni tnu li prusa achas shelechem. Please, you're making such a feast, such a major mishtach hashverish. Ashtikul broit, all I'm asking for is prusa achas shelechem. V'lo yishgichu olav. Nobody took about it. Nobody cared about it. Doch ha'ka'oni atzmui pnimo v'nichnas etzel ha'melch. He went through all the security checkpoint, comes to the king. Omar loi Adoni HaMelech Michoel Sorotzkin kosher beinecho litni prusa achas shelechem. Can't you give me one slice of bread? The king went and gave him a shirayim from the brekale, from the king's bread. Comes to my show, everybody's maral, everybody's asking a kasher. I mean, the guy's smuggling he tried to get into the White House. I mean, the guy's a king. He's passing the first point. Nobody let him in. Lama zogen that the guy is matzliach to smuggle through, and he comes all the way mamish by the president's chair. He's coming to the king. He's telling the king, give me prusa achas, right? And the melech, instead of calling any one of the servants and the waiters, the melech takes himself a brekale and he gives him a piece of. I'm asking you a question. If I would go in for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and I would say, Rebbeinu Shalom, you have trillions of dollars. There's a financial crisis. 10 million, give me. It's costing geld. All I'm asking you for $10 million. So the truth of the matter is, according to the Goyen's terminology, if we really ask, we can get it. If you ask, you can get. But the reason is, why don't we ask? What's the difference between us and Chana? Chana is not asking for herself. Right away in the beginning of the Bakosha, she says, "Unesativ la'Hashem kol yemei chayov." For HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's not for me. Give me $10 million. I'm giving it right away to tzedakah. I'm not taking it for myself. So, if you look at the Gemara a little further, I don't want to spend too much time on it. The Gemara says, "V'nosato la'amoscho zera anoshim." What's zera anoshim? What is she asking for? A child. No, Gavro shebeguvrin. So the Gemara, Ish ben Anoshim, says Rashi, Sheyechoshu v'limones ben Anoshim. Rav Omar, Shmuel Omar, Zera sheyemoishach shnei Anoshim l'malchus, u'mayniu Shaul v'David. I'm not taking a piece of bread. It's Dav Zayin as a sourdough bread. It has to be a shtickel bread, mit Puter, so sach gissen von alle Seiten. I need somebody to be Moishech. Shmuel Anovi was Moishech Shaul and David. So that's Zera Anoshim. Rabbi Yochanan Omar Zera sheshokhu keneged shnei anoshim. Mind you, Moshe ve'Aaron, Dichsiv Moshe ve'Aaron b'Koyar v'Shmuel b'Koyer Shmoi. She's not asking stam for anoshim. She's asking a Zera, which is shokhu keneged. We know Moshe ve'Aaron nish Moshe alein. Af Moshe shteit leikom kemoisei. There was never anybody. The cherry on top of the cream, on top of the cake, is Aaron HaKohen zu der Zueichet. More state that Shmuel was Shokel. Moshe ve'Aaron b'Koyanu v'Shmuel b'Koyanu. Frage Shaila. Here in America, we went to school. Before the Gzeire from the Zvelt bottle that you not have to learn in Limudei Choil. We get in school. What do we learn? First, alibis they teach you is beggars can be choosers. If you are getting a kumtzido, and the Gemara goes weiter. Ki oser avdimini from that. So to Babel, he said, "Shelei oruch v'lei gutz v'lei gicho v'lei admum v'lei tzocho v'lei ila v'lei cotton." She has it listed, a supermarket list, what she's asking for. You are Korah. For 19 and a half years, you don't have children. Kumtzido mitatnayim with precondition, with contingencies. You have to be azasot, not stam. Moishech shnei melochim, Moishe ve'Aaron b'Koyanu, ahecha niderika, vaisa, schwarze. She wants everything. The Torah says, when you ask for yourself, it's talking beggars can be choosers. But even a sato zera anoshim, I'm asking for the $10 million, not for myself. I'm telling you right now, I'm dedicating him. He became a Nazir. Shmuel was a Nazir. She's asking for Makdish Kodesh Baruch Hu. She has the legitimate grounds to ask and to prescribe exactly how she wants her child to be constructed. I want to come to a point. Steht in Goyen. I mean, the Goyen says it in 5 words, but I'm going to elaborate a little more. B'Rosh Hashanah nifkedo Sor. B'Rosh Hashanah, was given by Sor? What was the story by Sor? After Yishmael is born. So Sor tells Avram Avinu, Chamosi alecha Avram. What means Chamosi alecha Avram? So Rashi, Chomos ha'osui li olecha animtilo einish. כשיספללת לקדוש ברוך הוא, מה תיתן לי ואני אוהל לך רירי, לא יספללת אלו עליך. ואוהל לך להספל על שנינו, והייסי נפקד לשמחו. What says? You didn't have children. You go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to ask him for a child. So you're asking a child for yourself. What was the result? You had a kid. Who was the mother? Horav. You should have davened for you and me. You davened only for yourself. ואוי דבריך אתה חומס ממני שאתה שומע ביזיוני בשעסך. Sarah had major complaints on Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu is mispalo, but he's not mispalo for her. Let's go to Rachel. Rachel doesn't have children. It says, Hoveli bonim v'mayim meisa anoichi. Zokt Rashi, Samedrash. Hoveli bonim v'kikach oso avicho le'imcha v'le'ispol alei oma. Your father davened. Your father was mispalo. Yitzchak didn't have children. Steht v'yeta Yitzchak l'Hashem u'necha chishta ki akova he davened for him and for his wife. This is what your father did. Omar lo. Vayicha Raf Yaakov atachas elokim asher nona mimech pri beten. Zogt Rashi, at omar she'ese ke'abo. Ani eini ke'abo. Abo lo hoyu lebonim. Ani yesh li bonim. Mimech mona v'loi mimeni. Who's too stolz to the tate? My father didn't have any children. So he davened for him, he davened for his wife. By me, I have children. The problem is you, not me. Mela, I'm not davening for you. So Avram is not davening for Sarah, and Yaakov is not davening for Rachel. Was tut sich mit? What happens with Chana? V'chiasosot Sarah, steht in Psikte, is a medrash Psikte. Mach eses v'choizeres u'mach Ma yo oiso pnina l'chano. Omo l'pnina l'chano, snab noch l'bro, habo, I bought my son a sweater, v'keseines v'chaluk. Chana doesn't have children. She has 10 children. What's it, 10 children? She doesn't have. She says, did you buy? You go to shopping. There's a sale. Today, there's a sale. Go to buy your son something. V'im atchila livchois. Omar Rav Nachman Barabe, oy so pnina mashkemes omer l'chano. Einat omedes umarchetzes pneim shel bonaich sheyelchu l'beis hasefer. Don't you get up and prepare your kids to go to school? You have to prepare them to go to school. V'yoimedes v'boichu. Rav Kois Omar Bantanchum, they used to finish school after 6 hours, at least. You don't go to the school bus to pick up your children? ואלקונה נויסן לכל אחד חלקו, פנינה מסכוונס לאחס, אומרת אלקונה, תן לזה בני חלקו, לזה בני חלקו, ולזה בני חלקו, give him don't noch a stickel chicken, a stickel flesh, and she's listening there, her eyes are popping out, she's crying, vehoya bechem. Omar, as I stated in the Psikte, Omar Rav Kois, Omar Rav Tanchum Barab, Omro Pnino, Yoidas ani shemichana osid lotzes Shmuel Anovi, v'kol kama de lo yotzo mina de chano kois shel dmois lo yivoled. Pnina wasn't stam geschepet a schlechte Freu that she's not interested. Steht in Psikte that Pnina saw Beruach HaKodesh apparently. She was a Neviah, as a Shiur, if she is a din Neviah or not. That Shmuel will not be born until Chana will fill up a cup of Dmois. So she fills up a cup of Dmois. 19 years she's crying. You know what happened? All the 19 years she was crying. You know, I met once a person, I asked him, no, what's Zogst to Rosh Hashanah? Having a good time. I was by Leibstein, and he promised me I was by Chaim Kanievsky at Matsugizok. I am Mesudar, I can go now to the Kiddush Club, middle of davening, Fatki Shofar, ich bin Mesudar. Kol zman that a person is not Hashlech al Hashem Yehov Kol V'yichal Kaleko, the nace is not going to happen. For 19 years, she's going to her husband, Elkanah, was the Gadol Hador Shtet in Yalkut. She went to him, she asked him, daven for me, Chodesh Kinder. So she was Yoitzer, Shtadlos in having Kinder. Her kids are going to be born b'schus her husband, who is Gadol Hador. He's going to daven. Chaim Kanievsky is davening for me. In the moment that Elkanah tells her, Toiv aniloch me'asora bonim, the coin dropped. She realized that she's not getting the Yeshua from Elkanah. Chaim Kanievsky is not davening for me anymore. In the moment that she went in Moshe Laman Dover Doime, she broke, she penetrated the Armoin. Moshe Laman Dover Doime, Plusa Achas, doesn't care about the FBI standing in the shower of the Armoin. She goes into Beis Hamikdash, she goes into Eli HaKohen, Vayachshav l'shikoyre, the Kohen's gone Sevorot, she looked like she was drunk. When she felt that she has to ask for herself, and she's willing to dedicate the only son, Kol HaYomim, to the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Chana, Rochel, Sora, what was the problem with Sora? When was Sora Nifkedo? And Avram told her, she tells Avram, you know what, you daven for yourself, you didn't daven for me. When that message penetrated, got through, is Gibon Gavon Yitzchok. When Yankov tells Rochel, Atachas Elikim Ani, I am not, Kimono Mimech Plibet, Mimech Mono V'loi Mimeni, he said, my tefillah is not going to go for you. That's Berosh Hashanah Nifkeda Sach Rochel. Berosh Hashanah Nifda Yosef Mibeis Asur. You know why? Moira de Kazach. Tell you again. What's Berosh Hashanah Nifked Yosef Mibeis Asur? You get got out of the Leil Rosh Hashanah. Why? It says Ki'im Zechartani. It says twice. Ki'im Zechartani Asher Yitav V'osisa Imin Chesed V'yiz Kartani. Shteit Chazal, because it says Zechartani V'yiz Kartani, he said 2 years in jail. The 2 years, the Cholim from Sarah Mashkim Shteit Medrash took place on Leil Rosh Hashanah. He told them, Sarah Mashkim went out. He told them, Zechartani, you know, Zechira in the Torah is 12 months. Some Sefer says the reason why we read Parshas Zohar every year is because after 12 months is Shikha. At Kedekach the Shmuz, what happens if next year is a Ibra year, you have to maybe be masked, Michias Amolek, because it's 12 months is Zohar She'osel Amolek. He says, Zechartani v'yizkartani, you have to wait right now 2 years. The Eibishter had gesagt, 2 years passed by, and Sarah Mashkim doesn't remember you. Now the Tefilah of Yosef will be miskabel. When the exit strategy of Halozin Zachafarebe, of Sarah Mashkim, of Chaim Kanievsky, of Avram Avinu, of Elkanah, doesn't work, the message penetrated, and the same thing, Botla Avoidem Aviseinu b'Mitzrayim, steht Chaim Volozhin Zok, Tadvorim Yeduim. It says that steht Vayi Bayom Marabim Ha'el Vayom Melech Mitzrayim Vayoonchu Bnei Yisrael Min Ha'avodo Vayizaku Vatal Sha'avosom El Ha'Elokim Min Ha'avodo Vayishmo Elokim Es Na'akosa Vayizkor Es Brisa Es Avrom Es Yitzchak Es Yaakov. So Chaim Volozhin Pshuteyam, if there's a schlechter minister, as a bad king, you say, you know what? What do we menachem each other? You say, you know what? He dies and a worse one comes in. Who says we're going to wait now for this government to fall, to collapse? You see, it can come a worse government than it was. So what do we say? You have to follow them. Shtokim breire. Me darf sich verlassen auf Rebbeinu Shalom. So Chaim verloshene. Vayi bayom vayomos melech Mitzrayim vayonchu bnei Yisrael min avodah. You see that the new king that came, it became worse. Vayizaku v'tal shavos v'alakim. When they finally understood that this nechom of us miretzach hayin, tomorrow will be a nicer day, the sun will shine tomorrow morning, this magic trick will not help. The message that we have from Rosh Hashanah's davening is that in order for us to get this $10 million, it's two profound credentials. The first thing is that the only thing that works is I have to do it yourself. If you do it yourself, then you have a chance of getting and penetrating, of receiving what you want to get. Number two, you don't ask for yourself. You ask when the sativ l'Hashem kol hayom. If the asking is for ruchnius, then the bakosha that you do it yourself and don't follow zachav will be answered. I want to focus on one Gemara and this thing that Yitzchok was choluk from Avram and Yankev. Yitzchok was mispalo by Be'ad Rivka. Gemara we just read the Rashi we just read, and Avram and Yankev did not. I want to learn with you for the 10-15 minutes we have left. I want to learn with you Ashtikolef from the Slichas that we're going to read this week on Erev Yom Kippur. Look to Lashon HaSlichas. Slichas is Mochar Yeh Ha'ois Hazeh. What's the highlight of the Slicha? Slicha, the Pisman has a couple of piyutim. What's the highlight? Chanoin choin amcho, please redeem your nation, asher l'shimcha u'ma'amin, that believes in your name. Sanegoyer alay temane, you should get me a sanegoyer. Asher chotosi yatmin, whatever I zindikt yatmin, he will bagrob, he'll bury. V'choivi, and the choiv, b'smoil yachmin. It's not just the gramzel shtimen. Shteitoepes. I'm going to learn with you this. Zchusiyale b'yamin. Choivi, the choiv put in the left hand, and the schus put in the right hand. Ve'efer Yitzchok Yasmin, and the Efer of Yitzchok bring to the table. Asher yoymar kiyuzeh. Asher yoymar kiyuzeh, machor yeh, o is hazeh, you need to have a zeh in the picture. Asher yoymar kiyuzeh. So I'll tell you pshat. Hazeh b'chigel pshat, and I think maybe it's something which we maybe it's connected to what you just spoke about. The Goyen has a pirush. If you look in the end of Seder Nezikin, the Goyen is, the Gemara says that Shvuah D'Oraisa, one of the Shvuahs, the Shvuah says is only the Rabbanim. Shvuah D'Oraisa, Moed Mikzas is Mechul Shvuah. What is Moed Mikzas? I come to a person and say, Money L'Biyot, Chebalo Ibn Chamishim, I only 50. So Moed Mikzas, you have Shvuah D'Oraisa. Shvuah Sedechel, Shvuah Moed Mikzas, Shvuah Sater. Where do you learn Ada Alocha of Moed Mikzas is Chayev Shvuah Sater? Rashi says in Kiddushin, it's like Gemara in Bobekamim, Asher Yoymar Ki Hu Zeh. The learned out from the Wörter, Asher Yoymar Ki Hu Zeh. Rashi says, Shesomach Al Mikzas Odosoi. In other words, say 100, you made it 50, so there's a 50 Oido, 50 Kfir together, the Yishaf, a Chibur of Asher Yoymar Ki Hu Zeh. So the Goyen, the word Hu is Nistar. The word Zeh is something which is existing. Asher yoymar ki hu zeh, after half of the tviyah, of the $50 is who? You say, Mona Libiyotcha, I owe you $100. 50 I don't know about. But Zeh, the other 50 I'm giving you. So the Goyen Asher yoymar ki hu zeh, the combination of who and Zeh is the formula of Moeder Mikzas. Part is who is Ne'elam, I don't know about. And part is Zeh, it's right here sitting on the table I want to say as follows. The Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Peiches Amud Beis, says the Gemara, and I want you to listen carefully. Omar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani Omar Rabbi Yonasan. My diksiv, the pasuk in Yeshaya. Ki ato avinu ki Avram lo yodoonu v'Yisrael lo yakirenu ato Hashem avinu goyaleinu. Lo said lo Omar Kodesh Baruch Hu Avram bonech ochotu. Lo said lo Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to the office. Chal Yisrael is going to zindik. He tells them bonech ochotu. Omar lo fonov Avram avinu answer. Please eradicate them. They zindig, they ate, let them pay. Omar, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, like Loshen HaGemor, Eimal leYankiv, Davel Tzar Gidl Bonim, Yankiv had got Tzar Gidl Bonim, maybe I should use Yankiv. Omar le, Efshe de Boy Rachme Ale, Omar le Bonecho Chotu, Omar le Riboyne Shalom, Imochu al K'dush HaShmech. They ate, let them pay. Eradicate! Kill Klal Yisrael. Omar the Kodesh Baruch Hu say lo besavei tamo v'lo bedardake eitze. Nicht krieg ich in Yeshua, nicht für das Eider und nicht für den Einiklach. Not from Avram and Yaakov. Let me go to Yitzchak. Omar leile Yitzchak bonecho chotu. Omar lo riboyne shalom. Bonei v'lo bonecho? It's bonecho. It's my kinder. It's your children. B'shoshi k'dimo lefonecho naisel lish v'koros lebni b'choyri. Ashto bonei v'lo bonecho. Then you say B'ni B'choir Yisrael. It's the Machzach Nishmisadik. Bonecho, you throw the bill to me. You are the father. So the Gemara ve'oid. Listen to this mathematical algorithm of Yitzchak Avinu. Kama shnoisav shalom. How much does a person live? Shivim shana. Dal esrim deloya nashtalayu. There's 20 years. B'dina Shemayim, we don't get an Einish till 20. Bar mitzvah is only b'dina Odom. B'dina Shemayim, till 20 you don't get an Einish. So delete the 20, we're holding already by 50. Parshal Echamshim. Dal esrim v'chamisha deleiloso. Half a day we sleep, a night, hal b'tov. Pashulei esrim v'chamisha. It's only 25 years. Let's make the cheshbon. Let's take it right now. Take apart the bill. We'll do an auditing on your bill that you're sending to eradicate Klal Yisrael. Dal tarte srei upalga. From the 25, take half. The tzluye, the Michoel, and Beis HaKiseh. These three things of Tefilah and Achila, Beis HaKiseh, take off a half. Pashalei tarte v'so upalga. There's 12 and a half years left. For your 70 years, there's only 12 and a half. No, if you want to take the bill for 12 and a half years, you can do it. Come on, pick up the tab. Let's make a split. I'll take 6 and a quarter years, and you take 6 and a quarter. I'm asking to split the bill with you, 50-50. If you say, I'm not paying the bill anymore, forget it, it's your children, take it, all you. Akrive nafshi kamoch. I was makriv, my nefesh kamoch. Kedas Yitzchok miyad, poschu ve'omra ato avinu, omar lohem Yitzchok, ato ato mekalsim oisi, kalsu HaKodesh Baruch Hu, umachve le Yitzchok beinayu miyad, loisi milem lamor, ve'omra ato Hashem goyaleinu, moel mishmech. Yitzchok is the only one who's the Sanhedrin from Klal Yisrael. Let's learn the piyut. It says, I say, Sanhedrin alay temane asher chatos yachmin. The Sanhedrin, first of all, he takes the chatoim, which is b'dei Odom ad gil esrim. He's taking him off. Asher chatos yachmin. Now, half of it is leilis. He's knocking off the bill from 50 to 25. You know, as steht in Goyen, Ader Saliyom Pashas Bereshit B'Shem Tikunei HaZoyar, that a day is Yamin and a Laila is small throughout Kol HaTorah Kula. He says, Choyvi B'Smol Yachmin, the night, the time of the night is 25 years, B'Smol Yachmin, I am burying it in the ground. Zchusi Yale B'Yamin. Okay, so I'm only the Yamin. And the Yamin is the day that you Mekayim, the mitzvah, the brochas, the Tefilos. Then he says, Pal Ga'alai, Pal Ga'alech. I'd like to say something here, a sophisticated question. How old was Yitzchak by that Keder? So Rashi says that Yitzchok was 37 years old. Why? Because Sarah died, she was 127 years old. Avram was 137 by the Ptira of Sarah. And if Sarah died Samuch to the Akedah, right away, the Sultan came, told her, Samuch to the Akedah, how old was Sarah when she had Yitzchok? She was 90, she's 127, so he's 37. So Rashi says that Yitzchok was 37 years of age by that case. Problem is, Asidah Suyas Agmor in Ksubas, in Yevamis. In Yevamis, Daf Samachal, the Gemara says that Kohen Gadol has to take a Besula. He has to take a Naira and not a Begeris. Gemara says, how do you know? Ein Psula el Nairo, the Ksiv Nairo Toivas Marem Oid Besul, talking about Rivka. Zoktesis, Vim Toima, Bebraisa, the Seder Oilom, Ksiv, Shoiso had Bagimel Shenesor. It was only 3. What do you have a raya from here that she's a psula, she's naira, she's 12 and a half. So Ktesis, Ve'omar Rabbi Shmuel Chosid Mishfiro. The Mesifri Muchach Oisa Bas Yud Gimel Yudalet Shenesor Yitzchok. She was 14. And then Zoktesis, that Yitzchok was only 26. And Sarah really died 11 years after that case. Sarah died 11 years after the Akedah. Yitzchok is 26, and when Sarah dies, he marries her. She was 3 years old. Bishas when she was 14 years of age. So it's not that she's what we are used to learn. The case is, "V'tzorich lo yimar da midroshim chalukim, ve'asifri sovar the Yitzchok oye ben chavov shono bizman ha'akedah." If you look at the Goyen in Braisa that said the Oilom, it says that Braisa said the Oilom is the Braisa we have. We say. It says that Avram Avinu Yitzchok was 37, but the Goyen Torah Sefer, so Chleima ben Chavav Sham. Now this Chavav is not so pashut because it wasn't Chavav. Yitzchok, if Yitzchok, what the Akedah was on Rosh Hashanah, which year? 2074. The Akedah was on 2074. Yitzchok was born on the first day of Pesach, so Yitzchok is really not 26. Yitzchok is 25 and a half. He was born on Pesach, and here is the Ma'aseh from the Akedah. The reason why it's called 26 because he's into the 26 years. As the derech from the Torah, the derech from the Braises, he's the 26, 25 and umechza, exactly 25 and a half in the time of the Akedah. So Yitzchok, the 12 and a half years, 13 years, I'm a kotna, I'm potter, but the 12 and a half years, from the 12 and a half years in Toima, from the Zman that was Nichnas L'chiyuv until the Zman of the Akedah, it's exactly 12 and a half years. Ve'efer Yitzchok Yazmin, Asher Yoimar Ki Hu Zeh. Ki Hu Zeh is made of mikzas of the Goyim. I made a mikzas. So the 12 and a half years, exactly 12 and a half years, from the time Yitzchak becomes a Gadol till the time of the Akedah, that should be the schus by me to be Mesanger. But Negel and Yenein and Nachzot, what we spoke in the beginning, Yitzchak is the only one who is able to be Mesanger and the children want the Bonei Chachot. Avrom lo yisheinu, lo bezkeinei eitzo, lo bedardake. You can't take not the grandfather, not the grandson. Yitzchak is the only one. And why? Because Yitzchak was mispalo for him and for his wife. Yitzchak is the only one who's mispalo for him and for his wife. Is the schus, you know, that state in the Rosh brings down the end of Parshas Shmois, that b'schus Yitzchak is nigalu Mitzrayim. Why? He said because Baruch was looking for to be mekazez, to cut off to be only 210 years. So he came to Avram, he says, you want to donate something from your name? Avram says, I'm sorry, I need my whole name. He went to Yankov, he says, I'm sorry, I need my whole name. As he stated in Das Kenim Bala Tesis and the Parsha Shmois. He came to Yitzchok, so Yitzchok says, you know, Be'emes, my name is Yitzchok. As he stated in Bris Milah, he says, Asher Koras es Avram Ushvose le Yitzchok. Yitzchok is spelled with Shin, the 300. I'm willing to go downgrade me, call me Yitzchok. So I'm taking off 210 for my name. B'schus them, the Kal should be nigal. As he stated in Rosh. I'm not telling you a Chassidish gematria, I'm telling you a Rosh. The Rosh says, that Yitzchok says, instead of Yitzchok, So Yitzchak is the only one. Yitzchak is the one, like Davek the Tefillah, for him